Hi, Introduction to Excel and Access students. I thought I would do a quick review of the items that you completed for this week so we can spend the entire time taking the exam this week in week 10. So there's two items that you completed, one of them being the in the lab for modules 5 and then the homework. Looks like the results from the in the lab were very good, 96.7, so a high score of 10 and a low score of 9, so that is very good. So there's nothing I really need to review on that. Just be sure that you're looking at the grading rubric and looking at if there's any comments that I put on there and to ask before you take the exam as well. Then going on to the homework that you did within SAM, 82%. Not horrible, but I thought there's a couple things that you'd like me to look at before we begin. The items that we're going to be looking at have to do with step 7, and in step 7, the major problem I think was a copying error. So let me switch over to that workbook. So here in this workbook, we're supposed to go in cell B7, and in B7 we're supposed to use a 3D referencing tool, summing 3 different worksheets, which are the Santa Monica, Venice Beach, and the Marie Del Rey. So in the workbook where you want the total to happen, you're going to click into begin your totaling. So we're using the sum button, and then what we're going to do is click into the cell of the one that we want to total. And it's all going to be in cell B7 on each of the workbooks. So then what you're going to do is hold down my shift key. Since Santa Monica is already selected, I'm going to click onto Marina Del Rey. So with that selected, then I can hit my check mark, and you can confirm it up here that it has the information that you want to include, and click on to the check mark. With it, I think the major problem had to do with copying it without the cell formatting. So the first thing you're going to do is pull it down, and you'll notice that the cell formatting did copy. So I need to use the down arrow in the formatting and use the fill without formatting. And then I want to do the same thing by pulling it across and again making sure that it does it without the formatting. So then switching back over to my PowerPoint just to discuss the other ones. Number 14 was a problem, and that has to do with using the 3D referencing within another workbook. And the major thing was just a simple little mistake that's easy to correct. And then the last one has to do with the round function. So let me again switch back over to my workbook. So under the helmets per location, what we were asked to do was take an amount from another workbook. And so that is basically referencing a cell, an exact cell that we want to be used from another workbook. So to begin with, we always have to start our formulas with an equal sign. So type in equals. Then switch over to the workbook where you have the information, which in this example, it has to do with the Helmet Survey Support workbook, and it's going to be in cell D2 that you are going to use. The major thing here that you have to do is take out the dollar signs. The dollar signs are something that would cause problems if you were to use more than one workbook, and this is, I want it to be D2. I just want the reference D2 there. And so then I'm going to be sure and check enter. And with the enter, you'll see that the amount is correct. I can check it over here by going back to this workbook. It's being rounded here, but that was not an issue. The next thing is copying it down. And one of the things that I think was a major problem again is without formatting. So read very carefully. And then the final thing, that was number 15, where you're going to use the round function. With the round function, and it says use the round function, you have to do an equals and round. And then it said in the information to take the cell B3, multiply it by D3, and then you need to put a comma and tell it how many decimal points. And it told you in there 0 decimal points. So be sure you're reading carefully, and then be sure to use your check mark. The amount should be 365, copy it down, and again without the formatting. So hopefully this information will help you in being successful on the exam. We do plan on taking the exam and only the exam during our class. I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks.